Let us explore Yong-jia Xuan-jue's Song of Enlightenment, and then meditate. Oops, wrong button. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is brought to you by the generous folks who support this channel on Patreon. This morning, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two, but first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Rey on Ahch-To under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Good news! If at any point during this morning's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, all you got to do is type that question in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen, and I'll be happy to answer that question for you. That's why I'm here. Let's chant together. Release your hold on earth, fire, take two. Release your hold on earth, water, fire, and wind. Drink and eat as you wish in eternal serenity. All things are transient and completely empty. This is the great enlightenment of the Tathagata. Huh? Exactly. So, let's take this apart. Release your hold on earth, water, fire, and wind. In other words, our control. So there are so many things out of our control. There are so many circumstantial, physical, interpersonal, and mental phenomena that are out of control and that can be profoundly stressful. The irony is that when we try to control them, we often make things worse. We multiply our stress by relying on our most ancient primal drives to shove or reach or cling. Better instead. And now, this is a fundamental Buddhist teaching. We now move on to an early Buddhist teaching, and that is the idea that nuns and monks, if they're true nuns and monks, only eat one meal a day. There is debate, even though that is a widespread practice amongst 1/3 of the Buddhist global population, monastic population. There is some debate about it. Some people thrive on OMAD, one meal a day. Some people do not. Now, the Buddha said there were 3 exceptions to OMAD. That is labor, travel, and illness. The people, ironically, who are the most enthusiastic about monastic OMAD are the least enthusiastic about the Buddha's exceptions to the rule, which speak tragically loudly of their rigidity and their absence of flexibility. In contrast to this, many great spiritual teachers have concluded to eat when you're hungry and rest when you're weary, and that there is no advantages to anything that smacks of asceticism, and that the only reason that rule was implemented, if it was implemented, was because in the age before refrigerators, the monks would beg for food, and either they would beg all day long for 3 meals a day, which is unproductive, or they would beg once a day and keep the food all day long, which would increase the probability of spoilage And stomach poisoning or food poisoning in the early Iron Age could be a death sentence. This is explored in the wonderful movie 7 Years in Tibet, where a wandering German refugee steals food from an altar and gets horribly sick from it. So the author of this text, amongst many other spiritual teachers, said, guys, asceticism for its own sake is not important. So right away we're being told to theoretically let go, and then we're giving something to specifically let go of. Now, we're all human. We've all done silly things, including look for reasons to feel elite. Look for reasons to feel special. And one of the ways a fool might try to feel special is through asceticism. We're told here to stop doing that. Let's continue. All things are transient and completely empty. What does that mean? Is impermanence dogma that must be held onto with white-knuckle intensity? Well, we're just taught over here to let go. And furthermore, anybody who's lived long enough to flush a dead pet goldfish down a toilet knows about impermanence. Anybody who's seen the changing of the seasons knows the impermanence of a year. Anyone who's watched the waxing and the waning anyone who has watched the waxing and the waning of the moon has observed the impermanence of a month. And anyone who has seen the sunrise and the sunset has seen the impermanence of a day. And right now we could gingerly touch our fingertips to our chest. We could feel it swell. We could feel it sink. And viscerally experience the impermanence of one round of breathing. Ever-changing one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. This is not dogma. This is easily verifiable observation. And completely empty. What does that mean? If we explore emptiness literally, it's going to result in pseudo-intellectual skullduggery or the superstition of blind faith, neither of which is useful. But what if emptiness was figurative? Consider, if you will, the autonomic nervous system. Every time we breathe in, we inadvertently plug into the sympathetic nervous system, which is wired not for concentration, but simply for perceptual acuity, to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Every time we exhale, whether we mean to or not, we access our parasympathetic nervous system, which evolution has wired to help us to physically relax and mentally release. Therefore, every time we relax into our exhalation, that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could now feel as non-graspable as if it was a vast empty void. So that's a simile. Now, a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. What is a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky and a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although it could be tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the grasp. And there you have it. Emptiness demystify. This noticing and releasing is the essence of the Buddha's path. It is the path that leads to great enlightenment of the Buddha. Tathagata translates literally as thus gone one, and is one of the many synonyms for the Buddha. There is an eightfold path. Practicing it is liberation. Mastering it is enlightenment. What is mastering? We master something when we practice it spontaneously. Well, we have mastered something once we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. The way you don't have to think about brushing your teeth or tying your shoes. Now it's time we turn our attention to the latest iteration of Tsul Trim Zongpo's six-syllable tantra of the Great Compassionate One. I have adapted. Although I did not translate it, I have adapted it and amplified it. I say this not to boast, but simply because I do not wish to deceive you. I think it could be great fun. Well, let's just chant this real quick. I bow to the great compassionate one. I bow to the great compassionate one. I bow to the great compassionate one. So, it could be fun. To practice invigorating step back squat thrusts for aging fitness freaks. This is just something fun. You don't have to do it. We're not being superstitious. We are treating the Great Compassionate One not as a real or imagined celestial entity, but as an archetype of our own enlightened, as an archetype of enlightened compassion. Okay, here we go. Okay. So today's an even number day, so I'm going to use an inverted grip or a chambered grip. Here we go. Narrow stance, chambered grip. Om. I bow to the great compassionate one. Om. I bow to the great compassionate one. Om. I bow to the great compassionate one. Oi! Whew. That was invigorating, wasn't it? I take refuge in the protector Jinrizik, and for the sake of the 6 times of Mother Transmigrators generate bodhicitta. I take refuge in the protector Jinrizik, and for the sake of the 6 times of Mother Transmigrators generate bodhicitta. I take refuge in the protector Chenrezig, and for the sake of the 6 times of Mother Transmigrators generate bodhicitta. Good rule of thumb is usually if you see a word on italics, I've adapted it from another synonym. Meditating. Let's see, did I do that 3 times? Let's just say I did. Meditating on love, compassion, joy, and equanimity, may all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. So I think it could be great fun. If quack like a bunny. Let's make this 22. And now let's do a bit of the old image editing. Well, cowabunga. Let's say, oops, I'm having a trouble with the display. Let's see if I can remedy that with the push of a button. Whoops. Okay. Now, what is the key to transforming vapid mantra recitation into transformative mantra meditation? The secret is twofold. Number 1, during the exhalation when chanting the mantra, physically relax as best you can. Number 2, during the inhalation, do your best to silently and mentally recite something, either a loving intention or a wisdom-inducing rhetorical question. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. As we relax into our exhalation, we could release what we notice during our inhalation, as if they were as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on our bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. And now we come to our first of 2 silent meditations. This practice of mindfulness and meditation is known by many names, including Zen, Chan, Dhyana, Mahamudra, Ati Yoga, Dzogchen, Trekcho, and Slice Through, as opposed to home slice. Consider, if you will, this photograph of a beautiful Buddhist statue. Do your best to emulate it. Notice the legs are crossed comfortably, not in the Vajra posture, not in the lotus posture. The legs are released not from the knees, but the hips. The hands, the edge of each hand, is held comfortably against the lower abdomen, which helps the energy. The shoulders are neither pulled all the way back nor hunched all the way forward. They found the midpoint between the 2 extremes. Upon the face dances a Mona Lisa smile. Upon the corners of the mouth, the apples of the cheeks, and the crow's feet of the eyes. Lastly, and most importantly, create a gentle traction between your head and your tush. As we breathe in, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. As we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite the hyphenated verb relaxing. The inhalation is shorter and sharper. The exhalation is longer and softer. magically manifesting from relaxing into the sphere of emptiness. A cloud of samanta mandra like infinite offerings appear. Ceaselessly pervading the vast expanse of the whole universe. May all beings of all worlds essay invoke the archetype, great compassion in one Om Padme Hum. And this is the wisdom-inducing rhetorical question I mentioned earlier. Om Padme Hum, Om Padme Hum, Om Padme Hum, Om Padme Hum. While all phenomena are as non-graspable as if they were a vast empty void. All places could look as non-graspable as the celestial mansion of light of the pure land of the Potala mountain. May all beings of all worlds essay invoke the archetype, great compassion in one Om Padme Hum. So let us lovingly wish that all beings of all, let's rephrase this, let us lovingly wish that each circumstance of each being, of each world, real or imagined, now be lavished with the good fortune that we see represented in Buddhist art as depicting a real or imagined paradise. Om Padme Hum, Om Padme Hum, Om Padme Hum, Om Padme Hum. How is it that as we relax into our exhalation, these circumstances that had appeared to us so vividly can now feel as if they were as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise comprised only of light? Om Padme Hum, Om Padme Hum, Om Padme Hum, Om Padme Hum. Let us now contemplate the iconography of the archetype of enlightened compassion. I feel like somewhere I have missed something. Yes, I see that now. Okay. As if in the center of kind spirit land I could feel as non-graspable as Chenrizik, the compassionate archetype of light. If this body was white and clear, it could be reminiscent of awareness and letting go. And if this form emitted 100,000 light rays, it could be reminiscent of love and letting go. If this form was adorned with the holy signs and exemplifications, with a peaceful and smiling expression and a dancing gait, it could be reminiscent of scented spontaneity. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassion and one Mani Padme Hum. Let us lovingly wish that all beings enjoy the optimal health depicted in tantric art. Let's try this again. May all beings enjoy the health we see enjoyed by an archetype of enlightenment in Buddhist art. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. If this face was like the Dharmakaya swirled into one drop, it could be reminiscent of awareness and letting go. If these eyes were gazing with compassion, eyelids slightly open, it could be reminiscent of love and letting go. If these hands soft and flexible were equal in number to the four immeasurable thoughts, it could be reminiscent of compassion, love, joy, and balance. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassion, and one Om Mani Padme Hum. May all beings of all worlds enjoy the perfect health, savor the perfect health, enjoyed by the archetype of enlightened compassion, as demonstrated in tantric art. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. If these inner two hands were bowing and the heart holding a wish or feeling, truly could be reminiscent of mindfulness. If this outer right hand held a crystal rosary, it could be reminiscent of compassion and love. If this outer left hand held a white lotus, it could be reminiscent of physical relaxation and mental release. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. If this hair was dark blue and bound in the top knot on the crown, with the rest hanging down, it could be reminiscent of scented spontaneity. If I was crowned and it was adorned with a blazing jewel, it could be reminiscent of blissful devotion to teachers, example, instructions, and students. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassion and one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. If this body was adorned with divine skirt, belt, shawl, scarf, and crown tire, could be reminiscent of the 5 wisdoms. If this body was beautified with anklets, bracelets, triple necklace, armlets, earrings, and crown, it could be reminiscent of the 6 perfections of giving, non-violence, patience, mindfulness, and wisdom. If the left half of this chest was covered by an antelope pelt of light, it could be reminiscent of the channels, winds, and drops, and trickle to bliss and letting go. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype. Great compassion and one Omani Padme Hum. Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum. If in each pore of our body there are infinite pure lands, each with a Buddha and the retinue of bodhisattvas, it could be reminiscent that we are never separated from the example and teachings of those who have come before. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype. Great compassionate one, Omani Padme Hum. So now we come to the rhetorical question that helps us to contemplate how very odd it is that as we relax into our exhalation, the bodies that we felt during our inhalation could now feel as if they were as non-graspable as an archetype comprised only of light. Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum. May all sounds outer and inner generated by the animate and inanimate be blessed by this acceptable mantra. Liberating all those who see, touch, hear, or remember it, reminiscent of impermanence and interdependence. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype. Great compassionate one, Omani Padme Hum. Mantra like love. Let's try this again. Let us lovingly wish that all beings' experience of the interpersonal be as loving as a Buddha's mantra. Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum. How is it that as we relax into our exhalation, the communication we experience during our inhalation can now feel as if it was as non-graspable as a mantra, comprised only of light? Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum. May our minds like Shinrei 6 love the 6 types. Take 2. May our minds like Shinrei 6 love the 6 types of mother transmigrators as our children. While resting in the experience of emptiness, the union of love and letting go, May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. So let us lovingly wish that all beings of all worlds now enjoy the wisdom of a Buddha, such as the archetype of enlightened compassion. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. If I sat on a white lotus, reminiscent of wisdom, and full moon's heat, reminiscent of love, with these feet in the Vajra posture, it could be reminiscent of the two truths explored through mindfulness and meditation. If all directions were pervaded by the illumination of this love, take two. If all directions were pervaded by the illumination of this love light, it could be reminiscent of love and letting go. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. How odd is it that as we relax into our exhalation, the minds whose functions could appear to us so very clearly can now feel as if they were as non-graspable as a rainbow. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. So I took many liberties with this adaptation. At the 5 places of bladder, navel, sternum, throat, and forehead, there could be a green, a gold, blue, red, free, and white horn. These syllables, clarity and radiance, could be reminiscent of the potential to master transmutation of the 5 poisons. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. As we relax into our exhalation, or forms that felt quite sensual during our inhalation can now feel as non-graspable as a rainbow. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. From the vitality of this clear mind may light emit. May wisdom beings descend like rainfall and absorb with the mudra of samaya inseparable. Zam hu see. Zam hu see. It's been a while. Zahum bam ho. That's much better. This union of imagination with invitation could remind us that we are never separated from the examples and teachings of those who have come before. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassion of one Omani Padme Hum. Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum. I'm going to be right back. I must get myself some more water. May light radiate again, inviting the empowering archetypes of the body mandalas of our pores. Thus empowered, may defilements be purified and accomplishments achieved. May this head be adorned with glorified, limitless light, Amitabha Buddha. Reminiscent of our blissful devotion to all teachers, examples, instructions, and students. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Omani Padme Hum. Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum. You live the 6 types of transmigrators as your children. To you, protector, chin raising, I bow. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. I offer oceans of clouds of the ultimate offerings of mindfulness, metta, and meditation. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Welcome to this early morning's meditation. When you have specific questions about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. How is it that as we relax into our exhalation, our bodies that we felt during our inhalation can now feel as non-graspable as an archetype of enlightenment comprised only of light? This, of course, is a rhetorical question. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. You are enriched with a sublime method and wisdom, and inconceivable qualities of magnificent wisdom. I respectfully praise the archetype one who gazes with great compassion. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. If at this heart on a six-petaled white lotus was a seed mantra free at its center, it could be reminiscent of bliss and letting go. These petals could be adorned with the six syllables. This mantra could be spontaneously resounding and emanating blessing rays. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. As we chant the six-syllable mantra, may raise from the syllable trees mantra rosary. Make offerings of our practice of awareness, love, and letting go to the exalted beings. In response, may all the Buddhas, real or imagined, lavish us with blessing rays that absorb into us. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. May white and bless the day for realms purifying the mental continuum of pride in the suffering of falling as if from a great height. Oh, wait a second. This is something I want to coordinate. I must check something for a moment. Is this it? Yes. There it is. There it is. Okay. May white and bless the Deva realms, purify the mental continuum of pride in the suffering of falling as if from a great height. May the ultimate meaning, the transcendental wisdom of equality be actualized by all. May all beings of all worlds thus invoke the archetype, great compassion of one Omani Padme Hum. Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum. May green mob bless the Asura realm, purifying the jealous mindset and the sufferings of fighting and quarreling. May the ultimate meaning, the transcendental wisdom of accomplishing be actualized by all. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassion and one Omani Padme Hum. Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum. One moment. May the Yaloni bless the human realm, purifying the mental continuum of fear and the sufferings of working hard yet staying poor. May the ultimate meaning, the spontaneously arising transcendental wisdom be actualized by all. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassion and one Omani Padme Hum. Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum, Omani Padme Hum. May blue pod bless the realm of the animals, purify the mental continuum of confusion and the suffering of foolish befuddlement. May the ultimate meaning, the transcendental wisdom of the sphere of Dharma be actualized by all. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. May red, may bliss. Oops, quick typo. Let's fix this bad boy. May red, may bless the realm of the Pretas, purifying the mental continuum of craving and the sufferings of hunger and thirst. May the ultimate meaning, the descending transcendental wisdom be actualized by all. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. May Black Hum bless the realms of the hells, purify the mental continuum of hatred and the sufferings of heat and cold. May the ultimate meaning, the mirror-like transcendental wisdom be actualized by all. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. The appearances of the forms of the three worlds of desire, form and formless, are as non-graspable as he who gazes with eyes of compassion. All sound that resonates is as non-graspable as the murmur of the self-resounding mantra. In the clear light head is the awareness and release of perception, emotion, intention, concept, recollection, and imagination. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. O protector of the snowy land who gazes with eyes of compassion, I request, please, with compassion, pay attention to your child and bless my mental continuum. May all beings... let's do this real quick. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. It is as if all appearance, sensation, and sound absorbs into the sphere of clear light whose foundation is emptiness. The path is of neither hating nor craving, but merely gazing and relaxing as if at the face of Chenrezig. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassionate one, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay, so quick like a bunny. Going to put in a different image, a different photograph of a real statue that I think is quite lovely. Their nudity reminds us of the vulnerability so very necessary for mindfulness. Their translucence reminds us that as we relax into our exhalation, all that we perceive during our inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Their beauty reminds us that an effective practice of mindfulness and meditation liberates us from the tyranny of fear and allows us to practice love, spontaneous and uncontrived. The stability with which he sits reminds us of centeredness, and the abandon with which she sports reminds us of spontaneity. As we breathe in, we can silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. As we exhale, we can silently and mentally recite the hyphenated adjective emptiness. Remembering that emptiness is simply a metaphor of the non-graspability we experience as we relax during our exhalation. The inhalation is shorter and sharper. The exhalation is longer and softer. From the space like emptiness pervaded by sky again, instantly arises all body as non-graspable as Chenrezig, engaging in the work of blessing beings with loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassion and one Mani Padme Hum. One moment. Okay, never mind. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Due to the force of virtue collected in the 3 times, including this recitation meditation, may I completely liberate the 6 forms of migrating mothers from the abyss of controlling samsara. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassion and one Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Whenever the appearance of this life passes, may all be born in the western field of great bliss and quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassion and one Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. By the blessing of He who is the ambassador of refuge in the 3 rare sublime ones, the protector who gazes upon all with compassion, may all the directions and times be auspicious and have happiness and goodness. May all beings of all worlds thusly invoke the archetype, great compassion and one Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. May every meditation teacher understand the Buddha's teachings and practice master as well as teach him generously, lovingly, and wisely in the manner of centered spontaneity. May all meditation teachers spontaneously receive generous patrons, enthusiastic students, as well as devoted apprentices. And may many Dharma centers likewise be successfully planted, nurtured, and supported. If you feel that I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could share it with a friend, and you could even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 10 and a quarter hours, I intend to return to lead today's evening meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.